Lars Teeny presents Littlefinger vs. Varys, Agents of Chaos. Thanks for listening. Lars Teeny here. I'm a self-published author and a fan of Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire book series, and sometimes a fan of Game of Thrones. So I wanted to make a quick video about a specific topic that I'm sure other people have touched upon out there. It is the idea that A Song of Ice and Fire / Game of Thrones is actually a story of the game played between two specific masterminds, those being Petyr Baelish, aka Littlefinger, versus Varys, the Spider. The basic idea of this theory is that everything that happens throughout the entire story is a byproduct of the plots and schemes hatched between the two of them. Littlefinger and Varys are playing a grand game of chess, a lethal game of chess, and the Starks, Targaryens, Lannisters, Martells, and everyone else are the chess pieces, the pawns if you will. I would speculate that this is the real point of the story Martin is trying to tell. After all, most people would probably agree that the Machiavellian machinations are the most interesting part of the entire story. Now, we should probably ask ourselves what each of the players actually want. What is their end game? Who might each of them be working for? I would like to speculate and delve into the answers to these questions. When we first meet Petyr Baelish, he is acting as the Master of Coin on the Small Council, or the Robert Baratheon administration if you will. His power is fairly broad in this role because he cooks the books for the kingdom. When Ned first comes to King's Landing, he gives the truth of the magnitude of the debt that King Robert had supposedly racked up just apparently from drinking and whoring. Littlefinger proceeds to tell Ned that the crown is 2 million gold dragons in debt. Now, that would be quite a bit of drinking, whoring, and tourneys to reach that debt level. Littlefinger continues to confess that he has borrowed money for the crown from various sources, and from the Lannisters. But there is really no supervision of Littlefinger's handling of crown finances, which allows him to bribe and cajole and threaten with crown funds, straight from the royal coffers. So, now Martin has gone through great lengths to keep Petyr Baelish's motivations a mystery. After all, Baelish himself states, quote, "A man with no motives is a man no one suspects. Always keep your foes confused. If they don't know who you are, or what you want, they can't know what you plan to do next," end quote. Despite this insight, we do know that Petyr Baelish does have motivations and has an end goal in mind. The methods first used to destabilize the Seven Kingdoms are as follows. First, bury the crown under crippling debt and borrow heavily to manipulate the Lannisters into consolidating their power around the throne. Second, manipulate the Starks' sense of honor and slow wit into starting a war over the line of succession and the secret of Robert's bastards. The murder of Jon Arryn was the catalyst to instigate Stark rage. Third, using Lysa Arryn's infatuation for Petyr as a mechanism to gain the Vale of Arryn for himself after he murders Lysa. Fourth, cementing an alliance with the Boltons after Baelish had been an integral part in the arranging the Red Wedding plot carried out by Tywin Lannister, Walder Frey, and Roose Bolton by delivering Sansa Stark to the Boltons to legitimize their claim to Winterfell. Just a side note, I'm mostly going off the plot lines of the show and not necessarily the book in this discussion. And another note, so far in the book Sansa has not been given to the Boltons for marriage. Now, all these machinations together have one basic overall effect on the Seven Kingdoms. It destabilizes everything. It plunges the strongest houses into chaos. Quote, "Chaos isn't a pit, chaos is a ladder. Many who try to climb it fail and never get to try again. The fall breaks them, and some are given a chance to climb and they refuse. They cling to the realm, or the gods, or love, illusions. Only the ladder is real. The climb is all that is." End quote, Petyr Baelish. To me, this quote seems to come from the Ultimate Senate, a sociopathic nihilist. It confirms to me that Petyr's character may have been based upon Richard Neville, a 16th century Earl of Warwick, that during the War of the Roses in the mid-1400s, England switched from the Yorkist to the Lancastrian cause. Once he was known as the Kingmaker, but I think that Baelish's intentions are more sinister than just making kings and queens. If Baelish is marked by his early traumas when it came to dealing with noble houses, then you might be able to compare Baelish to one of those modern-day black hat hackers who practice their craft just to wreak chaos, except if said black hat hacker was working towards creating a nuclear holocaust. In my opinion, I feel like Baelish knows exactly the threat that the White Walkers pose, and that through his own accord he is working to soften up the North in anticipation for the invasion of the White Walkers. Whisperers. I wouldn't go so far to say that he actually works for them directly, but I would propose that he is the agent of chaos on the side of ice. Now let's take a look at the other side of the coin, if you will. When we first meet Varys, he is serving as Master of Whispers on the Small Council. Varys seems to be a rival of Petyr, as each speculates what one another is up to, but can't quite crack each other's codes. But you can sense the contempt they mutually feel for one another. Quote, he, Baelish, would see the country burn if he could be the king of the ashes, end quote. Varys on Petyr Baelish. Now, when Varys is asked who he serves, he states that he serves the realm, and I think he is being truthful, though I think that Varys' definition of the realm is highly subjective. To Varys, I think that whoever he deems as the rightful heir to the throne, I would say he considers that person the realm incarnate. This perception definitely does not make him an agent of order, however, as his plots are just as destabilizing to the realm as Petyr's schemes are. Let's take a look at some of Varys' actions. First, he convinces the Crown that he has sent assassins against Daenerys, but he hires Jorah Mormont to spy on her, with the full knowledge that Jorah's ex-wife resembles Daenerys. And I think he counted on Jorah falling in love with Dany and acting as a loyal bodyguard. Secondly, Varys and Illyrio Mopatis conspired to marry Dany to Khal Drogo in order to utilize the Dothraki to conquer Westeros to restore the Targaryen dynasty, or at least that is what we are led to believe. Thirdly, Varys attempts to aid Tyrion in the show covertly, and then smuggles him out of King's Landing after he murders Tywin. If Tyrion ends up being a secret Targaryen, this would make sense. In the show, Varys talks of Daenerys' cause to Tyrion and convinces him to seek her out. And lastly, at the end of Dance with Dragons, Varys murders Grand Maester Pycelle and Kevan Lannister because of the semblance of order that they had restored to the kingdom, thus allowing chaos to reign once more. All of this evidence suggests to me that Varys has an opposite agenda to that of Littlefinger. I would put it too that Varys actually serves the Lord of Light, R'hllor, and just as the High Priest Benerro preaches that Daenerys is Azor Ahai, I think that Varys also believes this. That would give Varys his grand motivation to sow chaos in Westeros, and if Petyr Baelish indirectly serves the Great Other, the god of the White Walkers, then that makes Varys and Littlefinger ultimate arch-enemies. The catch is that I don't think either man fully realizes this aspect. Ultimately, I believe the covert scheming both are engaged in will be the catalyst for the apocalypse, the battle of ice and fire, or rather, that is just my opinion. Finally, let me know if you agree or disagree about the content of this video in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you for watching.